The CHARonsClaw could send out either Pokemon, but he sends out Mega Ampharos and looks to start loading up on energy. The CHARonsClaw invests to protect shield, blocking up with Disarm and Voice, and out comes Palkia. The CHARonsClaw has no intention of baiting, he is forcing on the Dragon Pulse. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the Mega Master League in Season 24's Go Battle League. There are so many Mega Pokemon that are available. You might be wondering, what is the Pokemon I want to use? Well, if you, like me, are someone that loves anti-meta, my gosh, do I have the secret sauce. I was actually watching some battles on Twitch as soon as the league dropped, and the thing I noticed was so many people are pairing up Mega Gyarados with Zacian. You can either do two things in the Go Battle League. You can either use the meta or beat it. Today's featured battle of the CHARonsClaw is falling into the latter category, my favourite, the anti-meta category. And he has found that secret sauce that's able to not only core break them two top meta threats, but beat so many other Pokemon too. The battles I personally watched, I didn't actually see too much Kyogre or Primal Kyogre, but thankfully, the GOAT Home-Size Henry uploaded that Pokemon, so you better believe its usage is about to rise, and you can add that to the list of things that Ampharos absolutely shuts down. Ampharos is actually double buffed this season as Volt Switch does additional damage, and Dragon Pulse is now cheaper than ever. A lot of people wondered why the heck give Ampharos Dragon Pulse way back in the 15th of April 2018. Well, its Mega Evolution, unlike its pre-evolution, is actually an electric and dragon type, meaning you get the same type attack bonus on that thing. And let me tell you, if people don't know about that Dragon Pulse, they're soon about to find out. Today's featured battler is opting for Florges in the lead with his recently acquired Comday move of Chilling Water with a Zekrom operating on the Say Switch, also its legacy move. With all that being said, without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game one, we lead Florges into Ho-Oh, aka the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death Master League Edition. If this matchup was played before this Sunday, this would be an atrocious matchup as you would be fully walled. However, nowadays, Chilling Water not only hits a super effective, but also has a 100% chance to debuff the opponent's attack. The CHARonsClaw applies that very annoying debuff before save switching into Zekrom, baiting out Mega Gyarados. On paper, we are fully walled with our charge moves, but Ice Burn just hits everything insanely hard. What you will notice already, despite being in battle number 1, Ampharos core breaks this opponent, having a positive matchup against Gyarados and the lead of Ho-Oh. We're able to get this Gyarados insanely low. We send out Ampharos, anticipating the opponent spamming the Aqua Tail, hoping it lands on Florges, but unfortunately it lands on Ampharos where it is resisted damage. The opponent sends out Zacian. Oh my god, trainer, you are triple weak. The opponent has no fast move pressure into us whatsoever. The Metal Claws are resisted, as are the Incinerates too. The CHARonsClaw fires off the Thunder Punch, forcing the opponent's first protection. We invest to protect shield, hoping to shield a close combat or potentially a play rough. I've actually seen a few opt for play rough in this meta. We get baited, but undeterred, we fire off yet another Thunder Punch, getting this Zacian insanely low. Then we're able to make the catch, saving Ampharos, catching the resisted close combat onto Florges, and this will bait Ho-Oh back into the arena. The opponent not wanting to get debuffed again, opt to throw their energy, and this is looking like G to the G. Mega Ampharos re-enters the arena and looks to close the show. These buff Volt Switches doing absurd damage to Ho-Oh. The CHARonsClaw farms up, fires off the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. The CHARonsClaw still that shield to hide behind. Gonna shield up the Sacred Fire. That would be resisted. Unless they had Earthquake, everything would be resisted. We leave completely loaded. The opponent recognises the game's over and they concede the match. Heading into the next battle, we see the Florges mirror. So if you're going to play Mega Master League, expect to see Florges here, there, and everywhere. And to be honest, I've got plenty of time for that. I think it's fantastic. We've had such a recent Comday Mon that has so much play in all three leagues, giving newer trainers the chance to compete. Both trainers YOLO Moonblast at one another. We then see the pivot into Ampharos as Ampharos looks to start loading up on energy. The CHARonsClaw thinks about calling the Chilling Water bait. Last second invest to protect shield, and that is a huge shield as the opponent full send yet another Moonblast. Speaking of full sending, Dragon Pulse! Unfortunately goes shielded. I'd have loved to see how much damage that did. Palkia would have been straight in and straight out. The opponent tried to throw on CMP, go for the Aqua Tail bait, and that bait might be a decision this opponent lives to regret. Dragon Pulse forces both protection of the opponent here in the mid-game matchup. Switch time is up, and we see the pivot back into Florges. Florges, not the bulkiest Pokemon, but able to survive the Aqua Tail. We look to reach the Moonblast. The opponent makes a very nice catch, catching back onto the own low health Florges. Back out comes Palkia. Palkia gets the Dragon Breath farm down, but it's now Zekrom's time to shine. Zekrom enters the arena. Zekrom looking for the one shield. Full Dragon Breath farm down and hoping to nuke whatever's in the back. We've yet to see the opponent's Mega, and of course it's going to be Gyarados, one of the few things that is going to fully wall this moveset, although Ice Burn might have a little something to say about that. The Ice Burn gets the opponent below half health. We're even able to make the Fusion Flare, and Fusion Flare, whilst it is resisted, is going to leave the opponent insanely low. We then make the switch, trying to catch onto Ampharos. The opponent fire off the crunch. Are they doubled up? They are not. We Dragon Breath farm down, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see BDD in the lead position. Most people call it Best Buddy Dialga. I personally have always called it Basic Bitch Dialga. You call it what you like. The opponent save switches into Kyogre, and look at Ampharos go. They don't farm up to a Blizzard, so whatever they throw will be resisted. The opponent fire off the Origin Pulse. Ampharos gets a complete Volt Switch farm down, leaving absolutely loaded. Back out comes Dialga. Dragon Pulse hits for neutral, and a lot of neutral damage at that. The opponent looked to Dragon Breath farm down Ampharos. Ampharos still not done. Reaches yet another Dragon Pulse. Get that Dialga off my screen. Out comes Gyarados. The opponent doesn't want the smoke, and Ampharos makes quick work of that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we lead Florges into Primal Groudon. This should be an atrocious matchup if you look at the two Pokemon. We're a tiny little plant, and they are some crazy looking fire beast. However, Chilling Water is double super effective and instantly puts the opponent below the half health range. As they're opted for Dragon Tail as well, they're non-stab and double resisted. The CHARONCLAW correctly shields up the Precipice Blades, fires off one Fairy Wind and the next Chilling Water, and the opponent's now 2-stage debuffed. Precipice Blades is a busted move, but this is at -2, so Florges looks to tank the damage even at -2, putting us into the red health range. But Florges hangs on, fires off yet another Chilling Water, removing Groudon from the field of play. The opponent sends out Kyurem. Kyurem looks for the farm down, unable to get it before the Moonblast is reached, and Florges putting in so much work in this battle. Oof, we even get the attack drop for the road, meaning we should be able to tank any one move fairly easily. We send out Kyurem. Oof, they've got Outrage. Didn't see that one coming, but at -1, we're just about able to hang on. The opponent sends out Palkia, and Ampharos is looking primed to sweep. We invest the protection. The opponent go for the Aqua Tail bait, but unfortunately, Palkia, that bait will not be saving your fate. The Dragon Pulse is locked. It's loaded. It picks up the one-hit KO. Back out comes Kyurem. Kyurem looks to reach a charge move. Ampharos able to win the race, land back-to-back Dragon Pulses, and the CHARONCLAW will be emerging victorious. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see Mega Gyarados in the lead position. A fantastic lead for us. The opponent save switch into Reshiram, and they are evidently core broken by Florges. Florges fires off the Chilling Water that does hit for neutral and also force a debuff on the opponent's attack. If I was the CHARONCLAW, I'd probably tank this move, bank my energy, and then make the pivot into Kyurem. While most Reshiram will be carrying Stone Edge at -1, a Stone Edge simply isn't going to cut it. If this Reshiram has got Stone Edge, the question now becomes, can we tank this well enough and have enough HP remaining to Dragon Breath farm them down before they Dragon Breath farm us down? Yes, we are, and that is best case scenario. We not only leave with a charge move, but minimal farm for the returning Gyarados. Whilst Ice Burn might be resisted, it still leaves a decent dent in Gyarados. The CHARONCLAW actually sends out Ampharos, and Ampharos looks to start getting ahead in energy. The CHARONCLAW still with 2 shields, looks like he thought about calling the Aqua Tail bait. The opponent does throw that bait, but sometimes better to be safe than sorry. Out comes Landorus. Landorus instantly greeted with the Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse gets no respect. The opponent loses 60% of their HP. Quick switch into Florges. Florges fires off the Chilling Water, forcing the opponent's first Protect Shield. As the opponent's at -1, they are going to have to full send a Stone Edge. If they want to remove Florges from the field of play, they go for the Sancia Storm, and that simply does not get the job done. Florges hangs on, reaches yet another Chilling Water. Potentially reach another one as well, unless the opponent throws. The opponent look for the Mud Shot farm down, recognise they're not going to be able to get it, and able to snipe us down with Gyarados. Back out comes Ampharos. This is only an Aqua Tail, right? Oof, what a call. And that is a game-winning call. We save the shield, leave with the Dragon Pulse, and that is going to be all she wrote. A very, very nice endgame. GG's. What a beautiful way to chalk up that big 5-piece combo. You know what I mean. 5 wins, no losses. A perfect 5-0 to get us underway today. But don't worry, there's still plenty more battles to go. So heading into the next battle, we see our first Mega Gallade sighting. A nice lead for Florges. However, we're actually going to save switch. And I don't dislike this play. Today's team is, of course, an ABB team with a double dragon strategy. So we're going to save switch into Kyurem. Look to bait out the opponent's best dragon type counter. Speaking of which, there is the Dragon type counter as out comes Xerneas. Kyurem so far in energy, going to full send the Ice Burn, disappointingly bouncing off the Protect Shield. Kyurem so far ahead, already at the Fusion Flare. Fusion Flare won't be lethal, but does leave the opponent in a farm down range for Florges. The opponent should look to close combat. Not only picking up the knockout, but also debuffing their own defense, meaning Florges will get less farm when it re-enters the arena. The opponent does exactly that. They're still able to reach the part in Moonblast. That's going to leave a very solid dent in Florges, doing over 50%. Florges does get a massive farm down, meaning Gallade cannot return. The opponent sends out Gallade, go for the show and go, looking to catch the Moonblast. But sorry, trainer, we were baiting. Chilling Water not only hits Heat Run for super effective, but also debuffs their attack. The neutral Volt Switch is tearing through Heat Run. I think we just one shield. Volt Switch farm down, and this should be GG's. No! We don't respect the Earth Power, and potentially we found our own lose-con here. Ampharos fires off the Thunder Punch. We're doubled up. The first one removes Heatran from the field of play. Back out comes Gallade. We fire off yet another Thunder Punch. The opponent tanks the damage. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is going to get close. The low health Florges re-enters the arena. One Fairy Wind and the Chilling Water, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Can the opponent double up? I don't believe they're doubled up, but even if they are, that Fairy Wind should be knocking out, and it does. Oof, we played that risky, but the CHARONCLAW able to get the job done. Heading into the next battle. Beautiful lead, Florges into Mega Gyarados, the opponent save switch into Zacian, and here comes Ampharos. Ampharos does have to be mindful on the off chance that we're in play rough. Most opponents don't have it. If you tank a play rough, you're going to get one shot. It does like 96% according to PV Poke. Unfortunately, we do get baited with the Behemoth Blade, but undeterred, Ampharos heavily over farms up to the double Thunder Punches. One forces the shield, one gets the opponent low. Are we going to call this just a close combat, or are we going to shield? We think about calling it last second. We invest in protection. The opponent baits again. I do not understand that bait. He was only reaching one further move, whatever. Out comes Palkia. Palkia shows no respect. Almost get one shot. We're able to Volt Switch, farm down. Back out comes Gyarados, and the opponent concedes the match. Honestly, that ridiculous bait there. I mean, that bamboozled. I almost missed the big boom. Heading into the next battle. It's a battle of fairy type. It's going to be the debuff machine Florges versus the self-buffing machine Gardevoir. Gardevoir has of course been buffed this season. Able to get to them triple axles now. Quicker than ever. And also raising their own attack. They debuff once, they fire off the triple axle, return their attack to normal, but Florges able to hang on, reach yet another Chilling Water. Chilling Water gets them to around a third health, and then we see the pivot into Ampharos. Ampharos is taking super effect from the charms, but they are debuffed, and we do get a massive Volt Switch farm down. Out comes Palkia, and once again we're full sending. Does the opponent respect the damage? Oh. Unfortunately, they do. It looks like we're not going to reach another Dragon Pulse, or potentially would have got there, but we're going to set off with a Thunder Punch, guaranteeing getting off some damage. Looks like we would have reached the Dragon Pulse, but Thunder Punch does still leave a dent. The CHARONCLAW sends back out Florges, despite it being deep in the red health range. The opponent isn't going to be able to Dragon Breath farm us down, so we look to force some energy, and it's now Kyurem with a 2-to-1 shield advantage, looking to close the show. Kyurem hits the field of play, invests in Protect Shield, correctly shield on the Spatial Rend, then out comes Ho-Oh. This game's over. I think our only lose-con is throwing the world's most ridiculous bait. The CHARONCLAW not looking to find his lose-con. Full sends the Ice Burn, and that just does too much damage. We're just going to shield up whatever they throw. They go for the Sacred Fire. We're going to be able to Dragon Breath farm down before they reach another move. Palkia also going to get Dragon Breath farm down. The opponent doesn't want the smoke, and they concede the match. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, we see Gyarados in the lead position. I was expecting a Zacian save switch. They send out Palkia, which is more than fine for us. Florges more than content to stay in. YOLO and Moonblast, guaranteeing big damage or the first Protect Shield of the game. Palkia's matchup into Florges greatly improved this season, taking only 9 turns to an Aqua Tail, but fuck my life, we just got Fire Blasted to the face. Holy, I did not see that coming. If they're on Spatial Rend and Fire Blast, oh my god, I was going to say, it's about to be back-to-back boom time. Logically, if you're going to run Fire Blast, because you haven't got the legacy move of Spatial Rend, that Palkia did an absolute number on our team. The CHARONCLAW trying to get himself back in the game, fires off the Ice Burn on the incoming Gyarados. Gyarados able to Dragon Breath farm us down, and it's now going to be the low health Florges and Ampharos looking to close the show. Florges might be low, but still not done. Fires off the Moonblast, forcing the opponent all shields down. It's now Ampharos for 2-to-0 shield advantage. Ampharos instantly going to burn one of them Protect Shields. Looking to block up the incoming crunch. The opponent fire off the Aqua Tail bait. Already another move. The CHARONCLAW going to 2-shield here. And look to put this energy to good work against whatever's in the back. The opponent sends out Zacian. Zacian going to be greeted with the Thunder Punch. This is probably a mad lad that's got play rough. I've already seen one crazy nuke land. Is it about to be a play rough to the face? Ampharos fires off yet another Thunder Punch, getting the opponent into the red health range. No, we make the catch. Holy, what a savage catch. Behemoth Blade. Why? Why would you throw that? Trainer. Still resisted by electric. What the heck has happened in this battle? What an absolute roller coaster that is. But the CHARONCLAW able to come out on top. GG's to both trainers. That was a fun one. Heading into the next battle. Oof, come on, compose yourself. You wonder why no one watched your videos. This is an absolute shit show. Great lead. Florges into Zekrom. We're going to invest the Protect Shield. The opponent fire off the Wild Charge before making the pivot into Mega Aggron. That's a cool pick. They've actually lost their sub-rock typing, so I guess a Rock Tomb should be survivable. We're actually going to outpace to the Fusion Flare, which is super effective. If they're still a Rock and Steel type, it would only be neutral. Fusion Flare forces the Protect Shield. The opponent fire off the Rock Tomb. That's actually a fairly easy tank for us. That Chilling Water debuff might actually be clutch for us. And I think the opponent's got a throw. Can they farm down? It's going to be close. Looks like the opponent is looking for that farm down. The CHARONCLAW looks to reach another Fusion Flare. The opponent tried to make a catch. Catch attempt unsuccessful. And we're right back where we started. Great reaction time, but unfortunately what isn't so great is playing to the CMP tie. We do not win. We shield up the Wild Charge, fire off the Moonblast. Moonblast easily picks up the knockout, and out comes Zacian. Oh boy, the opponent is going to get the world's most ridiculous farm down. We fire off one Chilling Water. We're going to reach one more, but the issue is the opponent can of course reset this debuff as Aggron is still alive. The second Chilling Water, decent damage. The opponent gets a monstrous farm down. They've got to be at like 100 energy. We send out Ampharos. Nice, the opponent's throwing a move. Before resetting that debuff, they throw the close combat pivot out into Aggron. Aggron going to fire off the Rock Tomb, but I think this game is always going to end in defeat. Whilst we are able to snipe him down here, firstly, we don't have a move bank. And secondly, even if we did have a move bank, Zacian has the higher attack here, so we'd lose CMP. Very well played from the opponent, and unfortunately this one does end in heartbreaking defeat. GG's. For those of you wondering, the CMP tie between Ampharos and Zacian isn't even close. Zacian with a 291 attack compared to Mega Ampharos is at 259. Heading into the next battle, fantastic lead as Florges stares down Groudon. We've seen that Florges after debuffing can tank a Precipice Blaze, even from the Primal variant, so I imagine this is a fairly easy tank. However, the flip side of that is our Chilling Water is only super effective as opposed to double super effective. It's non-stab as well and didn't actually do much damage. The opponent then makes the pivot into Zacian. Every single time we get bloody Behemoth Blade baited, which is kind of unfortunate. Undeterred, Ampharos heavily overfarms, fires off the Thunder Punch the first one, goes unshielded, we overfarm, fire off the next one and look to remove Zacian from the field of play. The opponent actually invests the Protect Shield, then pivot back out into Groudon. We bank the energy, go for the wham, bam, combo play, fire off yet another Chilling Water. Chilling Water gets them low, but isn't enough to knock out. I'm really not entirely sure what this opponent's farming up to. Tell me they weren't trying to double resisted Dragon Tail farm down a fairy. Either way, the next Chilling Water removes them from the field of play. We have got a move banked on Ampharos. However, I was going to say, I really hope we don't throw it. The CHARONCLAW recognises he's going to lose CMP. Invest the Protect Shield, blocking up the close combat, and out comes Mega Gyarados. Gyarados not going to appreciate this Thunder Punch. The first one forced the Protect Shield, one further Volt Switch, and another Thunder Punch. This is probably going to do around 45-50%. Either way, should put him in a range where Kyurem can close the show. Kyurem enters the arena. They're going to need like Outrage to win this battle. I highly doubt they've got it. Most run Crunch and Aqua Tail. The opponent throws the Crunch that simply doesn't get the job done. We'll reach the Fusion Flare that is resisted, but from this range, it's going to be all she wrote. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see Mega Rayquaza. What a lead for us. The opponent safe switch into Lugia. It's kind of mad how disrespected Florges is in the current meta, considering the com day was all of about 2 or 3 days ago. I like the debuff there before sending out Ampharos, meaning the Dragon Tails that are super effective are going to do less. Ampharos, a complete wall to this energy. Aeroblast is resisted, but even at -1, it did leave a solid dent. We fire off the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch removes them from the field of play. Bring out Rayquaza. I promise we're on full electric moveset. I promise, trainer. Would I lie to you? Would I lie to you? We full send the Dragon Pulse, trainer. It's just a Thunder Punch. It's just a Thunder Punch. Oh. I was so ready to boom this Rayquaza, but it wasn't meant to be. Back out comes Florges. We are going to invest the Protect Shield, blocking up the Dragon Ascent. Which, strangely enough, is not a dragon type move. It's actually a flying type move. Who thought that was a good idea? And then we enter the mirror. It's going to be Kyurem on Kyurem Crime. The opponent throw the Fusion Flare. We withstand the damage. We return fire with our own Fusion Flare. Fusion Flare goes unshielded. The opponent's able to Dragon Breath farm us down before we Dragon Breath farm them down. But this might actually work out better for us, meaning we are going to get a small amount of farm here. The opponent throw the Fusion Flare. Fusion Flare simply doesn't cut it. Back out comes Rayquaza. Our lose con once again, throwing an unnecessary bait. We full send the Moonblast. The opponent recognise they need to call the bait. We don't bait, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Kyogre, the Primal variant in the lead position. Definitely 2 better response to the backs. We save switch into Kyurem, baiting out Primarina. ABA Water so far, so I'm kind of worried that whatever the third is going to be good into our Ampharos. Very surprised to see the opponent not shield up the Ice Burn. Ice Burn landed for crazy damage. We even reached the departing Fusion Flare, so logically, we all know the opponent's going to shield. Who runs a Charmer and doesn't shield? So you may as well shield the hard-hitting move. However, that works out for us. We're able to force a Protect Shield here in the mid-game matchup. We send out Ampharos. Ampharos likely has to shield a potential Disarming Voice or Moonblast. We shield up the Disarming Voice. The opponent sends out Palkia. We find ourselves in the 1-to-1 shield. And the CHARONCLAW has no intention of baiting. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Bang! There it is. Shout out the Go Oxford U for that quote. This game is completely over. Back out comes Kyogre. The first Thunder Punch forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Ampharos going to be matching Protect Shield and look to land another Thunder Punch. The opponent go for the Surf Bait, but that bait will not be saving this bulky Blue Whale's fate. We're already at the next Thunder Punch, and Ampharos is going to sweep the entire team. GG's, and thanks for playing. That definitely makes up for not booming that Rayquaza. In the next battle, we see Mega Gyarados in the lead position. And what else are they going to say switch other than Zacian? I'm guessing all the content creators put this out as the top team video or top core. And the CHARONCLAW has 5 head them all, running the absolute copium that is Mega Ampharos. Oh, I was going to say it's been a fun pick. This has just been a fun shoutcast overall. Ampharos going to fire off yet another Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch gets the opponent low. We're going to 2-shield here, recognising Gyarados cannot re-enter the arena. I can't understand, why do people keep throwing bloody Behemoth Bash? Honestly, do people not know typings? What is going on? In the interest of fair play, I'll counter my own argument, saying, do I not know what moves are called? Yes, I know it's called Behemoth Blade. However, Behemoth Bash sounds better, and it kind of looks like the animation's bashing something. The opponent triple weak to Ampharos. We combo back into Florges. Ho-Oh hits the field of play. We're going to instantly debuff them with a Chilling Water, and we're going to give them yet another debuff before they're able to get off any energy whatsoever. The CHARONCLAW looking like he's in a completely commanding position. I bet you've never watched another Pokemon Go PvP video where the Shoutcast has an argument with himself in the middle of the battle. Well, welcome to the shit show that is the home of Shadow Pokemon. Ironically, not Shoutcasting a single Shadow Pokemon today. Ho-Oh gonna look to dump energy. Whatever they throw, no move costs less than 50 energy, so they're going to be one Incinerate off the next move, and this game looks signed, sealed, and delivered. We can just tank all the energy here on our Kyurem, and I guess Volt Switch farm down everything. We actually make the catch back onto Ampharos. Is it necessary? Not particularly, but whatever we do, we're going to be able to fast move beat down the remainder of the team. Looks like the CHARONCLAW opting for the Dragon Breath route, and the opponent is going to concede the match. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, let's see if I can go an entire battle out going off on some mad tangent. Fantastic lead, and even better for us that the opponent is opting to stay in. The opponent going to strike with the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail, decent damage, but nowhere near as much damage as this big, super effective Moonblast will do. Moonblast goes unshielded, almost a one-hit KO. Oh, I thought we were going to snipe. We actually don't snipe. We do make the catch, the Aqua Tail, onto Ampharos, and in turn do snipe with the Volt Switch that's snuck. The opponent then sends out Zacian. We've already established, trainer, this is not a good response. I'm about 99.9% sure the first move this Zacian throws is going to be the Behemoth Bash, aka the Behemoth Blade. Let's see. Are we finally going to see someone not throw the Steel move at our Electric type? I guess we haven't got long to wait, as we're about to find out as a charge move is incoming. The CHARONCLAW respects it. The opponent actually forcing the close combat. They're doubled up. We make a savage catch him back onto Florges. The opponent then pivots out into Palkia. Florges gonna force in the Moonblast, guaranteeing damage or the final shield. We force the final shield. Can we make one more? We're insanely low. CHARONCLAW says no, settles for the chilling water. This is double resisted and not going to do much of anything, but does of course debuff their attack. The CHARONCLAW still has his full health Kieran, which hits the field of play. We see the instant no shield deployed as we dare the opponent to force in the spatial rend, which they do. We just about hang on. The opponent's now in Thunder Punch range, I guess. We've just got a double up. One Thunder Punch to knock out Palkia and one to knock out Zacian. The CHARONCLAW has other ideas, plays it a little bit risky in my opinion. As if the opponent would have caught that Dragon Pulse, potentially we lose, but they did not. Back out comes Zacian. We Volt Switch Farm down and take that game. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's Shoutcast. As you can tell, it was pretty shambolic. My first ever Shoutcast in the Mega Master League, and that was quality. A huge thank you to the CHARONCLAW for showcasing a very solid anti-meta pick. I personally don't really have many Pokemon for this league, but I had so much fun. I want to Shoutcast as much as I can. So if you've got some battles in the Mega Master League, specifically running some fun anti-meta spice, get them over to me and you'll be featured on the channel. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. And I'd just like to say a huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.